The video today is The Misery Loves Company. And if you're young enough, this trait you can manage. That's what I learned. That if you feel lonely, if you feel sad, you wanna exaggerate and you wanna express it to somebody else. And you intuitively find the same kind of people in your life. But this misery is not the sentence is not just because. You won't ever find someone decent, someone educated, someone self-aware who's gonna share some fucking bad things and misery, shame, sadness with you. And that's for a reason. You know why? You know why? You want to know why? Because people keep it to themselves to not to not portray that image of a broken soul. To maintain the circle they have. I mean, it could be fake people too. It could be just people pretending to be happy and etc. And most people like it. I'm not talking about it today. It's just like if you feel sad and down, you will intuitively find somebody who's the same. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. But it's the only it's your only chance to express these feelings. Because if you talk about your stuff to someone who's adequate in a good shape and in a good mood, they won't they just unfortunately won't understand it. They won't understand it and they won't feel it if they're not empathic enough and they're not um, feeling for you enough. And it's not too much people who feel for you in 2025. It's your mom and your dad, maybe if you have some adequate mom and dad. So that's why people keep to themselves. And I feel like it's a rule. It should be a rule. And people don't care about your laws, bro. Even if they do care, I mean, that's what I'm saying, bro. The adequate people won't be listening to your stories and to your crying because there's a signaling of vulnerability. It's signaling to keep the company, to share the experience and be in that company. That's why you go to a church and it's just instead of just being healed and look at like people and they just all desperate and depressed. And if you talk with like people there, it's just like you have this vibe of uncanny valley maybe, or just it's just it make you anxious and make you wanna. I'm Christian, but it makes you want to throw up. Like, unfortunately, that's how it is, and that's the rule in our society. If you wanna, like, in the long term, maintain adequate circle of people, adequate, um, balanced, you know, just self-aware maybe, and just good people around you, you gotta keep it to yourself and share topics that is not projecting hurt to someone. And it's just about like if you had the friend who's always on the phone with you and just like always trying to like fucking cry on the phone, and he's a grown ass man and fucking cries on the phone as his life is depressed and his life is depressing and life is so okay, I got it. Keep it to yourself, because if we need connection to people to feel joy and to feel alive, that's the opposite of it. That's the opposite of it. And you will find yourself when you're young, you will find yourself doing it. Most grown people do it as well. But as you grow, it's not like in some stages, like I said in previous videos, where it's like youth, career, the separation, career, then comes your family. There's no room for you to be sad, because you can't express the sadness as much as you're young. So you just keep going even if you're sad. You gotta secure the bag, you gotta secure the money, and etc. But that's why so many young people like feeling so much depressed. Like I kind of feel for them, because I found myself in the same kind of situation where I feel like I doubled my depression with presence of someone who's depressed. No joke. I doubled my depression. And if you want to heal from that, if you want to heal from derealization and these feelings where, and it's a crazy ass. I want to talk about it as well. Because last 4 years of my life, I even got to the point where my home is not feeling like my home, and that before the sickness, that before I got to US, that before the long COVID, that before this card, and before the situation with my people, closest people, who one of them people who got to be a covert fucking schizophrenic fucking I don't know narcissist, and that's before that. I found myself kind of estranged in my own home. I do have dysfunctional family. I did said it in my previous videos, but it's just feeling of being so drained emotionally, like Sam Watkins said, it's so suffocated mentally. So it's a disproportion of what's like the whole system is just being broken, and you kind of feel robotic in it. I found myself in this, like I found myself in a company with the same kind of people, and you know, all of a sudden, um, you kind of like, you don't know where that switch was, like where that switch was to where that switch took place in your life, where you're just like, okay, I'm a robot now, and I don't like anything, you know, I'm just like a robot, and the life is miserable. Like completely, every day of my life is miserable. Even if I see snow, it's miserable. Like everything about nature is miserable. That's the huge red flag, bro. That's the huge red flag. If someone hates nature, bro, that's how you know they depressed. They dead, bro. Because that's something that is off the so-called system and so-called society, and that will make you depressed. And but not the nature, you know. But I find myself hating on the nature, hating on, and I find myself estranged in my own city. I find myself disliking my own city. I find myself hating and trying, and that's the reason why I wanted to move on, move out. That's the reason why I wanted to. And you know damn well, if you at this stage of my life, I'm self-aware enough to understand that this is my main, this was my main driver. This was driving me crazy nuts to do all this psychopathic shits in my life and pursue these goals. And even if I stayed in US, this is probably a bad idea because the driver is different. You know, the driver is not career. The driver is not is the main driver is to wanna escape the current situation. Even it's like a Russian. That's also like a Russian sentence where old sentence where they say uh, everywhere is good, where is not you. Like literally, it's just like the meaning of it is like, I mean, every place you go, you feel like it's good until you go there. You know, because you cannot change the true nature of yourself and your driver and your ambitions and your goals and your just ideology, and that's what your thoughts is. Not just thoughts, you know, it's something that uh your thoughts is just like a cover, you know, they covering the whole spectrum of ideals, values, and etc. So that's why it's so important to actually grasp on what you're doing, bro, in your life, what you do, why you do it. And I intuitively flew from US knowing knowing that it was a bad idea, it was a risky idea, and it was a self-destructive idea. Because it's nothing in my city that bothers me that much, but my depression, but my estrangement, but my like how does word called? Uh, I'm gonna just Google it right now. I'm gonna just Google it right now. Solastalgia. It's called solastalgia. It's something that actually drive you nuts. It's just like the feeling of a huge DPDR. I can explain it like this. Even before LC, even before the autoimmune disease, I had this feeling of being like even my own room, home, little situations, places where I go. It feels strange and it feels like the memory of how it was before deleted. So that's called solastalgia. And Sam Beckman made a video about it. I reminisce about it, and I'm trying to make something out of it. You know, because I'm having the same feeling right now. Is like I said, is on and off, and this feeling is triggered because of a narcissistic environment. And I know it's a lot of pressure on my shoulders, bro. It's a lot of pressure. It's dysfunctional family, but I find myself in those kind of toxic relationship with people where we doubled that feeling even more. We doubled it together. We doubled it with my friends. We doubled that depression, and that's just the coping mechanism, and probably some sadistic or even masochistic kind of thing to do. That's masochistic to think that everything around you is so damn bad and fake. And I know why, because at that kind of period of time, it was like a stressful period where I left the college, I left the uni, and I had no money, I had no plan, I had no view of my future. My family had no view. We wasn't a crash out, but we was pretending to live, and that pretending is suddenly turned to that, you know. And that pretending, it can be infinite. It can be infinite. It can be just forever filling because you will crash out, and when you do, you will realize this shit was fucking breaking me. And as soon as faster as you do it, bro, you gonna take control over your life. Um, take that. I don't know how to say, like your decision making and your you got what I'm saying. So your decision making, you just hold control of your life. I'm just gonna explain it simply. No fucking crazy words, none of that. It's the knowledge, bro. I don't care about no fancy words, no. You're taking control over your life. And I started with being homebound and isolated in my home because I was trying to escape the home. When I got that feeling, I was trying to escape the home as much as possible. I was trying not to go there, and club and that and this narcissistic environments, and it's so crazy and it's so play with your head that you even more estranged from your home because you kind of like addicted to these places. You're addicted to work. You're trying to be starting to be workaholic, and you living in the office, and your own office is feels weird as well with them. But even with the like everything, it feels weird. Like it's the feeling of constant run or constant rush for me. It's just for me though. It's maybe it's a different something. It's something different, but also I was experiencing constant rush, constant rush. I was trying to escape my home, bro. I was trying to forget me. I was trying to forget my identity. I was trying to escape my own thoughts by doing it overtly and doing it outside, expressing it heavily expressing it onto others, to my life, and to situations, micromanaging these situations and creating, making up these different scenarios where it's just crazy making shit. To be honest, it's no peace. And when I started to kind of when it's actually got to me, when it's actually fucking fired at me back. This feeling is just something that you carry on and slowly dying, slowly. And that whole depression thing is just in the mixture of this thing. And you slowly, and when it's firing back, it's like a boom. And you have no other choice but to be homebound and trying to idealize the whole thing all over again like you're a kid. That's what I did. And when you idealize your home, you will start to idealize your previous kind of self. See how it's little things that is matter, does matter to improve it, to improve your situation. If you can't escape it, even to improve your situation, and it's helping. It's less depressive, it's less isolating because I feel like I'm controlling. Now I'm controlling it, and now I'm actually just sitting home and I accept it, and you just don't fight it. You just don't fight this feeling, and you don't fight your feeling. You try to, you don't act out and trying to sabotage all over again. You're trying to find the balance. That's the right way of living. All as humans, we're trying to find balance in our lives. We don't. There's no need to sabotage what's already fucked up. It's already fucked up out here, out there. It's a fucked up world we live in. You don't need to sabotage it even more, and you find your own balance. And this need for people is little by little, just you know, it's little by little. I don't need people, bro. I don't need like I feel great, and I feel less lonely while I'm alone. As crazy as it sounds. So do not double your depression. Do not double your if you autist, like I used to do that. If you autist, do not engage in groups where other autists because it's still depressing. It's still depressing. Average autist is depressed. They cannot function in society whatsoever, bro. So you cannot help. You just all you do is a hollow of mirrors, and engaging in this kind of society or with somebody who's similar to you is gonna sabotage you even more. You gotta get away from that feelings that makes you depressed and makes you make your brain creating all that memories from the past. You want to balance yourself and find something good to look up to, something new connection, neural connection in your brain. So this past is irrelevant. It's so irrelevant that you won't imagine how irrelevant it is. But why you depressed, the past is super matters. The past is something that you stick on to. The past is your fucking is your victimhood. Is a definition of your victimhood. Your past. That's why the way it is, because of your past. You blame shit. You're depressed, and you project it onto the world, and can't find balance because you're a victim. You can't find balance because you're so weak. You don't want to even try. That's why you're picking this depressed. It's triggering your depressing mood liabilities and mood swings, and it's triggering you into that kind of position in life. And what's funny is, okay, I know, but it's a good prognosis for it. Like I watched in a video, it's a good prognosis. You just have to really get. If we talk just simply, we have to get away from environments that make you that way. You have to like re-look it, experience the environment, re-experience your city, re-experience your life from the bottom. And the prognosis is good. But if you find yourself in that company, like I said, with people who just ill, because they all them people in LC community, you know, this long COVID community is people want to find something like the logic, and they can't find it, and they know they can't find the logic, but what they're doing is they're sitting at the forums and blame shift and express it and eating up this shit, you know, eating up this anger, anxiety, depressed. They depressed, and they want everyone to be depressed, so that's why they sharing it. You know, they want you to depress as well with them. So that's the validation right here. So it's not suitable information for your brain, but if someone's depressed, you have to leave them because it's not your responsibility. The responsibility at the end of the day, you can't find these people. I mean, you can't help them, people, and it's not your responsibility. You can't help them. It's in their own hands. They having they Depression is is a controlling mechanism, defensive mechanism. It's an inner aggression, inner centralized, inner expression of aggression. And sometimes it's a it's a state, but while you depressed, you kind of pick the same. Like it's complex. But for me, it was like inner. I'm just speaking personally for me. It's inner and outside. You know, it's inner you inner being depressed, outside you being narcissistic. So you're being psychopathic, antisocial. So it's the same way, you know, it's the definition of being depressed. It's the same way. You're going against all rules. It's depressing. It's just depressing to see how most of the youth is. Depressing to see. Listen to whack ass music, gay ass shit, you know, LGBT, fucking all that fuckery is depressing. It's self destructive. And yeah, I'm being radical on that. But you can't help somebody who's depressed. And nobody can help you if you're depressed. It's in your own hands. What can help is just the validation in terms of, you know, covertly trying to make you, trying to, if someone is covertly trying to refresh you or like actually care about you, like the caring and love. That's it. But nothing but sharing this fucking sad moments and crying on the phone. It's validating to your depression, not to your, it's not validating to your true self that is being attacked by depression. So okay, that's the video I want to do. Just a good video, just a really good video, because you know, if I can self reflect on that, I mean, I'm making a big ass progress. You know, the time can heal you, bro.